Welcome. Welcome to today's masterclass. The insight that I received 2 minutes before popping on here was I heard a message that was like topic roulette, meaning I must have gotten the guidance. There must be something kind of brewing out there for y'all in the community. Maybe one of you has a question that you've been contemplating. Maybe it's a collective question. Maybe it's a personal question. Maybe there's just something that's been rolling around in your thoughts and in your minds that we could unpack, not in a put you on the spot sort of way, but in a use me and the channel that will access for you to help clear anything that's really top of mind. And again, this can be personal, this can be collective. For example, the topic that's been rolling around in my mind a lot is the speed at which AI is moving and what that really means, and future casting as a futurist and a visionary, what that looks like. So that was an idea that was rolling around for me a little bit, but I want to hear what's been rolling around for you all. It feels like there's a lot shaking, a lot shifting. There's almost an eerie silence right now in the field. That's what I'm experiencing anyway, yet there's still a lot of static at the same time. Silence in my field, almost like a, a settling back. So let's dive in a little bit here. Curious your thoughts around charging for sending referrals to other people, like a secondary revenue stream. Okay, the first thing that pops for me for you around that is what is your capacity? And again, you don't have to answer this in the chat, but just let's start exploring it and I'll tune into it a little bit as well. What is your capacity right now to add another revenue stream? And what I mean by that is what is the cost that would have to be paid to your primary vision in order to add that revenue stream? And when I say capacity, it really is like the power of focus and the power of intention is, and focused energy in that intention is going to help you receive the guidance that will bring that intention and that vision to manifestation the fastest. That said, if we start to switch gears and start to move in other directions and add some additional revenue streams, first and foremost, what is the intention underneath it? Why? Because if there's any intention of I'm feeling impatient, it's not happening fast enough, I feel like I could be making more money, I feel like any of that, then obviously that's an intention that's going to detract or distract from the main vision that you've been holding. If the intention is, and people, I'm already referring and people refer to me that aren't my area of focus. Okay, so you're more so just how to handle it. It's so personal. If there are referrals going back and forth, I don't like to muddy the water. For example, if I've got a referral partner that we are serving the same audience, but serving that same audience differently, and I'm going to send referrals to them and they're sending referrals to me, I prefer to keep that super clean. It's just like an agreement. It's just what happens. We don't have to add in any extra incentives or anything else. It's truly just the law of reciprocity. If I have a referral partner in either direction that is the reciprocity is not already there, then I like to explore like what would truly make it a win-win and thinking beyond just even paying referrals and money being the exchange. It could be asking for introductions. It could be if they have an email list, being able to share a resource to build your list. So the longer game of nurture. It could be asking them to share a video with their audience. Like again, there's just so many different ways that you can create strategic partnerships, and it's ultimately tapping into your full level 5 energy and thinking like, what are all the possibilities and what are the ultimate wins that are wins for the long game? So that's going to be the level 5. It's not just like the immediacy of an exchange that feels good, but more so what is the long game? What is the bigger potential? What is the bigger possibility? If we were to imagine that those referral partnerships were fully established and completely trusting and trusted, and there was growth happening on both sides, like what does that long-term potential relationship look like, and how does that play out is in a true win-win fashion? The exchange of money for referrals, I personally have never, it's never quite felt in alignment for me to do a financial exchange. And that could be because again, like I just am so connected to the unseen flow of the universe, that the universe handles all of my law of reciprocity. And I really learned that powerfully when I was training for IPEC. There was no like the opportunities just found me, and it was it wasn't causal. It was like if I do A, then B happens. It was like if I show up in my gifts, and if I show up in trust, and if I show up in my power, then B always comes to me in the most surprising and delightful ways. And so I like to keep it open and fluid from a level 6 perspective. From a level 5 perspective, you can get super innovative and creative around creating strategic partnerships. I would just, yeah, just watching the energetics underneath it all and playing that way. Good. Glad that's supported. Wondering if I should lean into work or take a big step back. Casey. Casey. Taking a big step back. Man, this feels like such a push-pull game, doesn't it? It's such a push-pull, Casey. It's the question that's really coming to me right now is what do you have to lose to take a full step back? And actually, what you're tapping into a little bit is part of the topic that I wanted to dive into today, which is slowing down to speed up. So, if there's a ton of static and a flurry of activity and a feeling like you're never doing enough and a feeling like there's so many possibilities in so many different directions, if it just feels like it's so like a rat's nest of activity and planning and strategizing and trying and throwing spaghetti at the wall and having it work and having it not work and then making that mean something, if all of that shit's happening in this static rat's nesty way, then take a big step back, but do it with the intention of openness, meaning that it just needs to clear. The field needs to clear. We can't get clarity. We're in the middle of this static and this mess. It's like we just keep trying to push another answer over here, and we grab this thread and we grab that thread and we grab this answer, and we grab that answer, and we look here and we try that and we do this, and like it just gets so messy and so static is the only word I can come up with right now. And if you take a big step back with the intention, it's not defeat, it's not resignation, it's not fuck it, it's I'm going to take a step back and allow the field to clear so I can hear the guidance that I'm meant to hear that gives me the path of least resistance. Because energy automatically works efficiently when we allow it. The only reason energy is not efficient is because we are usually interfering and messing it all up with the mind and our thinking. And the mind and our thinking is always going to be focused on past. It's always going to be thinking about anything that it's implementing is recreating the past. It's like at the end of the day, it just gets all jumbled. And so the taking a big step back is more so a surrender. That's what it feels like. It's a surrender. I'm moving out of the way. Like Jesus, take the wheel. Like I'm moving out of the way and I'm ready to receive. And I'm ready to receive the guidance, the wisdom, the efficient use of life force energy from a source that is beyond me, from something that can see much further and broader and see everything, knowing that I can only see through this size of glasses, and I'm trying to build something that is from such a constricted view. That is what's creating the tension in my mind and in my thinking and in my business. And so I'm saying I'm going to go blind for a minute. I'm going to take my little bifocals off that are at least letting me see something, and I'm just going to go blind, and I'm going to let you be my eyes. Let something that can see so much more be my eyes, be my guide, be my wisdom, be my direction. And it's also a commitment to I will sit still until you tell me to go. I will stand still until I receive the guidance or the pull to go. And it's going to come in a flash. It's going to not make sense. It's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel different. But that is the guidance that we're waiting for. And the mind is not going to like it. The mind is going to be like, it might guide you to do something you've already done. And the mind's gonna be like, no, I've already tried that. That doesn't work for me. Or it might guide you to do something you've never done. Or it might guide you to retire the book, Age of Beauty, that just came out. We don't know what the guidance is going to be, but I can assure you it is not going to feel comfortable and it is not going to make sense. So it's just a steep commitment to that full surrender until until those flash insights start coming in. And then it's building a muscle because you're going to want to fall back into your old path. It's almost like once the universe gives us like a little snippet, a little nugget of something, we're like, all right, we're off to the races, let's go. And all of a sudden we just go straight back into the mind and all the thinking and all the planning and all the strategizing and all the figuring it out. And it's like now we just cut the universe back out again. And we find ourselves back in the exact same path. So once you start receiving the guidance and once you like fully surrender into it and it comes, and I will tell you, it always, if people fully surrender into it, if they fully surrender to it and they say, I always tell people, just say, just can you give me 2 weeks? Give me 2 weeks of not touching your business, not thinking about it, not strategizing. Let it go. Fully surrender it. And usually within less than 5 days, people start receiving insights. But then again, they grab them and then they collapse the field in on themselves instead of just allowing for patience to come through. So it's like once the guidance and the wisdom starts coming in, it is important that we anchor even more deeply to the present moment. Because what your mind is going to want to do, it's going to want to start futurizing, it's going to start searching for certainty. And how it finds certainty is to rely on past certainty. But that then collapses the connection to the divine guidance, to what you're actually able to receive. And so it's like when it comes in, it's keep yourself anchored in the present. This now, act, surrender again. This now, act, surrender again. It's when we get ahead of ourselves that we then cut the cord of the path of effortless creation. How does that resonate? Good. Beautiful. Now, Casey, I'm intending for you that you have the courage and the trust to do this, to take a big step back, to take a big step back without the fear that it means it's over, with the knowing that it means it's just going to begin. Oh, let me check the Q&A. I found myself on the verge of a big opportunity and then it falls flat. It keeps happening. I'm not sure what else I can do. It's happened time and time again. I get excited for it, only to be let down. Is it always the same opportunity or is it new opportunities, but the same pattern keeps showing up? I'm going to ask for some clarification, tune a little deeper. Some of both. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. This is a huge pattern for me as well, Naomi. Ashley would attest to it. We get like manic with ideas, like just oh my gosh, and then it like fizzles. And so it's a pattern that I'm still playing with a lot in my own business and in my own life. What I started hearing is the pendulum swings because of the manic excitement for the opportunity. That manic excitement creates attachment, and then again, it cuts the cord from the bigger orchestration of it coming to fruition. And so it's almost, you remember the image that's coming to me is kids who like have a lot of sugar. It's like they get a sugar high. They're like, and then all of a sudden 5 minutes later they're narcoleptic, they're like sleeping. It's like that, like the energy can't like it's not meant to swing like that. And that's just our humanness. Our humanness keeps our capacity for high energy kind of limited in a lot of ways. And so the real opportunity is there once it's neutral. That's the real opportunity, is when it just is. And it doesn't mean that the opportunity that feels super exciting isn't the opportunity. It's just our energetic work when it feels really exciting is to not grab and chase that string of excitement. There's actually a shadow archetype that's coming to mind. It's the child archetype. The child is like the glamorizing, fantasizing child. And that child is just, it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that, it's gonna be this. And it sounds like it's very dreamy and it's very exciting and it feels visionary. However, it stays in there, and then what ends up collapsing is that the child gets so excited about the dream and the fantasy that underneath it, the frequency underneath that is but what if it doesn't work? But it's so subconscious that the child chooses to keep dreaming instead of put it into action and get the clarity of if it is something or isn't something. And so so that's one of the patterns that can play out is choosing to not want to know if this is real or if it's just a dream by holding on to the fantasy and trying to hold all of the excitement of it before moving with it or moving through it. That's one pattern. Now, the other pattern, which is actually that I don't know if that one resonates there, but the other pattern is the pattern that I do, which is I teach this all the time, insight act, inside act. So I get an idea and I'm like, boom, off to the races. Like Ash and I have an entire plan, every single step, and boom, like in 2 days flat, we've got this entire thing built out. And what I'm learning about that pattern is it's still not neutral because again, like I think my old pattern was the glamorizing child, and then I created a new story that okay, action brings clarity. Let's test fast. Let's move fast. Let's see if this has legs instead of just dreaming of it having legs. And so then you can move really fast, but now all of a sudden you're moving so fast from the mind and the strategic intellect that there hasn't been space for co-creation. And so then my energy will collapse on the back end of it. It will fizzle because in my experience, in how I'm experiencing my consciousness now, it's if I'm not co-creating, it fizzles. It's almost like I'm leaving half of myself off the table and my soul isn't going to allow for that. So it's going to fizzle very fast. So I'm actually having quite an epiphany right now. So thank you for this question, Nomi. So how do you play with that then? How do you play with that speed? But you can, like what I can feel in my speed, and again, I'll just use myself as an example. In my speed, it's almost like a fear that it will fizzle if I don't move. And then I move so fast that it does fizzle because what we fear, we create. And so and that said though, once it fizzles, and it's okay to be in that pattern, once it fizzles, then my soul knows to surrender it. Then I receive the guidance to let it go as soon as it fizzles because again, it's so funny how the energy all moves in these patterns. So I'm just sharing my pattern and hopefully it illuminates some over here. Either we're stuck in the glamorizing child and we're not moving it, or we swing the pendulum this way and we move it too fast. Both are going to cause it to not actually come to fruition. So what I think the answer is in here is to move it, but move it with curiosity. So the excitement in the movement that I'm moving it from, it's like overconfidence. It's, oh my gosh, this is so good. It's going to work. It's like still the glamorizing child, but it's like overconfidence because we might be guided into that opportunity for reasons we can't understand until we connect the dots looking backwards. So I might draw the conclusion like, oh my gosh, this opportunity is the thing that's going to conclusion, build my list, do this, do that, get my message in front of more people. But all those conclusions actually cut off whatever possibility was meant to be held in it. The whole possibility could have just been me learning a new technology, and then that new technology 5 years from now happens to be the thing that's the backbone of something else. And so it's like, how do we move through it all as like a curiosity, as I don't know where this is going. I'm feeling the expansion of the energy right now. I'm feeling the pull. I'm going to put the pull into action, but I'm also going to move it in action with space. I'm going to have like little checkpoints like, okay, move. Again, it's almost like I was just telling Casey, move in present moment. What is the absolute first step? And then pause before the mind goes, and then that's the next step, and then that's the next step, and that's the next step. And so, yeah, as you're talking, Stacey, it sounds like in both cases, you're futurizing either movement or action or keeping the mind glamorizing. Could you further clarify how to move it in a co-creating, open, unattached way? Yeah, you asked that question and it was just coming through. It's exactly that. It's like when you're able to hold the duality of spaciousness and speed at the same time. So the energy still gets to move really fast, but the action doesn't have to. I actually wrote this note down. Presence equals faster frequency. So when we talk about slowing down to speed up, what we're talking about is slowing down to get minute in this present moment. So granular, like how small and slow can this present moment be? And the slower the present moment is, the faster the frequency. And so if we're moving fast with the frequency being slow, that's the fizzle. Or if we're, yeah, because I can't quite put my finger on the glamorizing child and how that one's working. I wanted it to connect differently, but it's not. But if we're moving fast in the human from attachment, from fear, from judgment, from any of those things, from too far into the future, too far into the past. The frequency isn't matching the human movement. And I think that the fizzle is literally your system saying, that's enough now, time to rest. It's almost like the electricity has to be cut off because otherwise we're just going to go down a complete rabbit hole of a frenzy that probably is mostly driven by catabolic energy, which is going to create burnout or impact health or keep us hyper focused on something that then is causing us to drop other areas of our life, not keeping us in harmony and out of balance. And so the co-creating in an open and unattached way is focus on speed of frequency first, which always comes with presence, and then receive the wisdom and only move on the wisdom instead of on the whole picture. And part of this is a disadvantage of level 5 energy, because when you're able to see the whole picture, and especially all of you have experience and past successes and past failures, and there's something that happens when that level 5 energy, your mind is open and so broad that it can see the whole picture and all the steps in the picture all at once, which then is very enticing and alluring to move on it. But the co-creative process is a dance. I receive the guidance, you give me the guidance, I take the action. I put my human to work. You give me another piece of guidance, I put my human to work. And so there's a lot of slow down to speed up, slow down to speed up, slow down to speed up. And the slowdowns actually create the bringing to fruition and the manifestation faster than just working with the speed of action alone could ever. I'm actually in this right now because we've been building out a business energetics assessment, and it's a vision that I've had for a very long time. And we built it like 2 months ago, built it with a platform that I found felt like a great fit. And then once it was ready to launch, I could feel it was like just full of level 3 energy. It was just like, it was fine. It was okay. And it wasn't perfectionism. It was my commitment to the integrity of the work, the vision that I have for the work, the experience I want users to be having. It was like I knew my values around what and my vision. And it hit my vision at about 60% of the way there. And we could have pushed it. But fortunately, I was in this co creation dance and I didn't push it. And we just sat back and just I said, put it on a shelf. I don't know. Someday I will have an assessment, but this is not it. And that was after investing $10,000 and hammering it all out with the copywriter and with Shantini and Ashley and myself. It was a huge project, but it was a push project that fizzled. And that fizzle was my clue. Put it on a shelf. And this is similar to what we were just talking about for you, Casey. Take a step back. It's going to happen. This is the difference between resignation and taking a step back into surrender. It is a knowing that vision is going to be a reality. I just don't know when, and I don't really know how yet. And so it's taking a step back from the when and the how. That's the real surrender. And so then it just popped back up in about a week ago. And so now it's like we've been in this frenzy again. And 2 times in the last week, I told Ashley, I gotta put it aside and give it some space. And I'm not gonna touch it. And then I go back in. And so it's like this, and now it feels like it's on the right track. And this version of it, compared to the level 3 version, if I would have pushed it out as good enough, this version of it it's like that version on steroids. It's like everything, like we're figuring out everything that for it to be everything that I'd envisioned it to be. And just as a heads up, most of you know that I automated the ELI debrief, did hundreds of ELIs into this automated course system. So what I'm building now is essentially that, but it's 100% customized without having to watch hundreds of videos or hundreds hours of videos, not hundreds, hours of videos, and to just be able to have the entire mirror right in front of you in a report. Yeah, I'm really excited about what's being built. Okay, so I hear you saying is be more present with my opportunities, waiting for the guidance and versus making plans myself. Also, because this is happening, I'm not sure what area or project to pursue anymore. How do I figure that out? Give that space too. A little bit of that, Nomi, is when we feel lost, we'll feel into this, but this is what is coming through. When we feel lost because things aren't popping into our field, we are giving our power away to things outside of us. And so if you don't know your purpose, your direction, unless something is popping into your field, that's your invitation to connect back in here instead of looking out there. And so it is back to, and it's also because that you're just being thrown on a wild goose chase. So first and foremost, what do you really want? Everything always starts with desire. What do you really want? Because the other thing the universe will do, if we are playing in high levels of consciousness, but of course there's these unconscious patterns, usually power patterns, where we're giving power away to something outside of ourselves unconsciously. If we're not giving guidance or direction to the universe about exactly what we want, but we're still powerful manifestors, you'll start getting opportunity there, because the universe is, I'll just keep dropping shit your way. You're going to manifest because there's a lot that for me to work with, but there's no structure around it. So it's like, you could have this and you could have that and you could have this and you get a car and you get a book and you get a this and you get a that. And now all of a sudden the guidance has no pathway. It's just a bunch of random shit falling into your field. And so first and foremost, we've got to take radical responsibility for our desire and the ownership of that desire. So the co-creation dance is first and foremost, there is a strong embedded desire and purpose. And it might not even be purpose, because if we talk about human design, a ton of people have freaking undefined G centers. You're never supposed to actually know your purpose. What would that feel like if you were like, I don't, my purpose is to just be? Like, there is no fucking purpose. That would be pretty freeing, probably. Anybody who's really seeking a purpose, you probably have an undefined G center and you're just working against how you're designed to be, which is actually you're supposed to just be able to have purpose in absolutely everything. And so that's the purpose piece. But we're giving our power away to something outside of ourselves, as if there's some sort of answer that's going to be the magic bullet for our direction, as opposed to coming into radical acceptance that your direction can shift and change based on the guidance you're receiving in any given moment. And we can flow with life in that way. Yeah. So what area, I'm not sure what area or project to pursue. Sorry, I must have read purpose somewhere. That must have been for somebody else. I think it was for you, Becca. The project, what is the fear? What is the fear that comes up if you don't have a project to pursue? How uncomfortable is it to sit still? How uncomfortable is it for you? You're just finding your trust edge to trust that something will pop up. How long can you sit in the discomfort of nothingness? This is your next quantum leap in consciousness. Nomi, this is it. How can you come into radical acceptance of not having a project to pursue, not having clarity, not knowing what you're meant to be doing? Because the more quickly you have acceptance of that, the more clear the guidance will come and the faster the guidance will come. So don't figure it out. Hand it over, surrender it. Okay. What else? Dismiss these. Hmm. Annie, especially for you, I guess we're going to touch on human design. Don't figure it out. That undefined head and ajna center, Annie. Yeah, you're supposed to hand all the figuring it out, all the answers, all the certainty you're looking for over to the universe. Let the universe show you through interactions, through eavesdropping, through some little divine sparks of inspiration, through nature, through, doesn't even always have to, like, let God, universe, source, let Gus maneuver the environment to give you the answers. And we can only do that when we surrender, then we can receive it. And that's, again, we're playing with the human design. And my understanding of our undefined centers are our receiving centers. We're meant to just receive from everywhere. And the defined centers are masculine centers. We're meant to penetrate, we're meant to drive forward, we're meant to actually put out into the marketplace, because your defined centers, your masculine, is a magnet for my undefined centers, for example. And we know how to operate in our masculine and our feminine. It's all built into our design, into our energy centers. Mental projector. Awesome. First and foremost, Becca, as a mental projector, you don't have any motor centers. And as far as action goes, the only thing to act on is the discernment of when it's a pull and not a push. Meaning you get this urge inside of you that is like so strong. And again, this is really making sure that you're staying clear, nourishing your openness, cleansing your openness. And then it's like the universe is going to have its own language with you and how to move with action, especially as a projector. For me, I just know when I feel like such an urge and such a pull. It's in such a timing because I'm undefined in my root as well and my sacral. It's go now. Don't argue with me. Basically, is like the feeling I get. That's so Gus is, you know that it's Gus, you know that it's the universe, you know that it's divine guidance when the voice is neutral. So I said, go now and don't mess with me. The voice is much more go here. It's so matter of fact. It's just do this, go here. There's no emotion in it. And so that's the deeper discernment. If there's a bunch of emotion in it, your subconscious is probably glamorizing it and making it mean something and futurizing and crystal balling and doing all the stuff. I've been a part-time stay-at-home mom, but always trying to figure out what to do next to keep me busy. So what I'll do is really sit still. Yes. Know me. It's sit still, but it's just bring presence, right? And so I was actually just working with a client on this because we discovered this really fascinating pattern and a new connection to level three, like a powerful connection to level three. So level three is very routine. Level three is when we talk about like chop wood and carry water, just do the things, check the boxes. One of the big advantages of level three is you're able to use that in connection with your level five vision or your level six presence, pure presence. And then it becomes actually not level three, but we use the idea of routine, which would traditionally be level three, and we apply the intention of level five or six behind it, which is what then makes it level five or six instead of level three because of the intention behind it. But the level three of the routine, that's the teacher. It's like how much joy can you experience in the mundane? And that's real presence. So it's not even necessarily sitting still. It's not like sometimes I think when we turn to sitting still or meditation or connecting in, there's an underlying intention of so that, which is still attachment, meaning, okay, I just need to sit still and meditate and not do anything and not think. But the more that we're focusing on that, the less still we can sit. And therefore, like we're compromised the field. So there's this beautiful space of movement and routine in level three that we can apply level five or six intention behind. And now we're in movement, but the movement has no meaning because it's just routine. So it's like, how present can you be while you're brushing your teeth? It's almost like walking meditation. How slow can you walk? How present can you be in like this moment? How much can you slow time down? I love teaching time to my sons who are baseball players and teaching them like about how no matter how fast the pitch is coming, if you can slow your energy down enough, it's going to feel like it's floating and you'll be able to connect. Hitting a baseball is statistically one of the most challenging things to do. It's a game of complete failure. If you even hit 50% of the balls, you're like a massive success in baseball. And working with them, like being able to, when they're open to it, and not just like asking for strategies, which is our default, right? Which they're not asking me, they'll ask their dad for that. But if I can catch them for a moment and just say, how present can you be right before you're at bat? How can you just like in a moment tune into all of the senses and slow time way down? Because when you slow time down, it slows what's coming at you down and you're able to respond in a totally different way because you're not just reacting, you're responding. Okay. I feel I'll stick with you, Nomi, and then anybody else pipe in too. You can feel, I feel this, you're straining like your mind up here. This is a pressure center. You're just like, it feels so, it's like you're taking a shit through your mind, just like trying to push it out, like just trying to get the clarity that you're looking for. Like it feels like just so much tension up there. Now we gotta figure out how to sit still and I gotta figure out what to do. It's like, whoo, get some space up there. Get yourself distracted, do a puzzle, paint a wall, freaking dance, sing. What can you get lost in that just like shuts that puppy down? Because man, whew, it's tight up there. It's tight up there. Let's loosen it. Another thing my son always says, we always say, don't think. Just, how do I not think? What do you mean, don't think? What am I supposed to be doing if I'm not thinking? It's like, totally get it. It's like a hard thing to figure out. And then that's when I said, just be present. Instead of thinking about what you're going to do, use your mind to perceive sounds, smells, sensations. Okay. I'm going to see, let's see here. So, yeah, this is, of course, beautiful synchronicity, or at least my mind is creating the patterns to what was dropping in. And then the things that y'all brought forward. Thank you for asking your questions and bringing them forward. So, one of the things that we've got about 15 minutes here, and if anything else, oh, good, Casey's got another thing. If anything else pops in, I was just going to say drop it down below. But one of I'm going to share one key message, and then I'll come back to that, Casey. The reason why this was really dropping in for me about slowing down to speed up, like this has been a big theme. It's in my book, Metaconscious Entrepreneur. But what was really coming up for me was how fast technology and AI is moving, and you can feel it. You can feel the speed at which everything is moving. And as somebody who has a lot of possibility and opportunity energy, it could be something that you're trying to keep up with. You're trying to stay on the leading edge with. You're trying to innovate from, trying to innovate with, trying to master. And we can't match the speed of it. We can't, the human cannot. In fact, it's going to replace a lot of, because we can't keep up with the speed of it. We can work with the speed of light in our vibration. And so that's one thing. Like that's the only way, because then what that does when we work with the speed in our vibration and in our frequency, it cuts out all of the noise so we can receive the thing that leads us on the path of effortless creation, because we don't need all the things. Even though there are infinite possibilities and infinite ways to use AI to automate shit and do all this stuff, we don't need all of them. And when we're trying to keep up with it, we're trying to figure out how to use all of it, and it will fry us. And so when we raise the vibration and the tone and the frequency to a different speed, we receive the shortcuts that are meant for us. And I think what a lot of people are going to be doing in business, and it's going to be a complete distraction, is they're going to get lost in all of the possibility, because entrepreneurs automatically already have so much level 5 frequency and energy, opportunity, that they start chasing all of those rabbits, and then in the end just end up probably collapsing into level 1, feeling confused, feeling behind, feeling like they're not on the edge, feeling that they can't get there, can't catch it. And so this whole slow down to speed up is the big message that was coming through, is to not try to keep up, to accept that it's going to move faster than you're going to be able to move. And you'll still be able to leverage its speed by matching its speed with your speed in your frequency and your vibration. And that's what's going to allow you to maximize this huge potential and possibility that is unfolding right before our eyes, that is changing the trajectory of the world forevermore. And it's been obviously around for a long time in a lot of ways, but that's one thing. Now, the other big message around that has really dropped in that feels so exciting is, for all of us on this consciousness journey, is that while everybody else is chasing and speeding up, when you choose to instead do the opposite and slow down, when everybody else is zigging and you zag, you actually, this is always going to be a pendulum. It's going to go up here and it's going to come back here. And when we stay on the leading edge, we don't follow the pendulum. We don't let the pendulum pull us to this speed over here. I'm burnt out now, I need to stop. Instead, we are steps ahead because we swing in the opposite direction of where the pendulum in the correct collective is moving. So what does that look like? It looks like, well, everybody else is trying to automate, you ramp up your high touch. While everybody else is trying to scale and create courses at the speed of light, you do shit live. So this is what the reason why we have these master classes is AI will never be able to replace what's happening here in the community, in the connection, in the transmission, intuitive transmission. Now, could Casey or Nomi or anybody who asks a question or Lori ask those questions to AI and get some really freaking fantastic answers? Of course. However, the thing is, under consciousness, we still question the answers we're getting, and the answers are still never quite right or quite on or quite hit. I don't know if you guys have gotten lost in your chats. It's almost there, but not quite. And so then rather than we just get lazy, so rather than using our own brains to make it right, we just want ChatGPT to get it exactly right. Instead of just it's 90% of the way there, like I could just use my own fucking brain to finish it. But no, I get so sucked into making sure that ChatGPT gets it just right. So this is an example of what we're watching people want to create in their businesses and how they are seeing the possibility for scaling their businesses and how they are moving in that direction. No, that's going to exhaust people. I don't know when. I don't know if it'll be 5 years. I don't know if it'll be 10 years. I don't know when. But someday that's going to exhaust people. And so to be on the leading edge, we're over here establishing what's next, which is connection, personalization, no automation, high touch, high transformation, high intuition, because AI can only recreate things that have been created before, high innovation, high creativity, all connected to higher levels of consciousness. And so my invitation to all of you as this message has been coming through is to trust your energy and not get sucked into the vacuum that's happening over here, because what we're doing is we're holding and templating that next pendulum swing that's coming, and we always come back to our human. And we know this happened with the pandemic. Everybody was running around like chickens with their heads cut off, especially in the United States, who apparently doesn't understand work-life balance. And then all of a sudden COVID hit and everything slowed down and people started living off grid and they started look at what's happening, what people are craving. Where are you going? Is it the little mom and pop wineries and breweries and made from scratch kitchens and all organically growing, the things where people's hands are actually in the creation of it and there's an energetic exchange happening? Because that's what I'm guessing most of you are called to that. I know that's what I'm called to, is how is this made and how is it not mass produced? Not because I have anything against mass production, but because I understand the intentionality that goes into everything. I don't know if I share this story, but I'm getting water shipped in from Mount Shasta. And I looked at everything they're doing, and it goes straight from the spring of 100 years of rolling over jade and minerals and rocks and straight into the bottle. It's not touched by a bunch of machines and a bunch of other things. It's intentional. And that intentionality, when we're infusing it into our businesses, is the leading edge, is the next paradigm. So the old paradigm that I saw happen before it happened was the whole unhustle movement. Now everybody's onto the unhustle movement. That's old news. Everybody's talking about unhustle. So the next movement that I'm onto is the conscious hustle. How are you moving so fast with this co-creation dance that it looks like you're hustling, but it feels like flow? Because it's no longer about I don't want to work too hard anymore. It's more about I fucking love to work because it feels so fun and so invigorating and so innovative and so cool. So that's the kind of like leading edge shit that we're able to pick up on that now y'all are hearing. And when you commit to your direction to zag when they're zigging, you're on the leading edge and you are a respite. You are a safe place to land when this gets exhausting, when the mind can't do it anymore. And it's like people feel like they're coming back home to themselves. Okay, so let me just pop back up here to Casey. I've manifested money toward me, but it hasn't come through my business as I'd hoped, just other random sources. Should I be okay with this, or is it still okay to have the desire and want my business directly? When we draw a conclusion about how money is supposed to come in, we cut ourselves off from all the other possibilities. And so I've had so many clients, they like set a goal like, Actually, this just happened. This one client set a goal. She wanted to create a 250K business from scratch in the first year. And we're coaching. And within 2 months, 200,000 came in. How? Her husband got like a $200,000 raise for the family. So you still have it's never about the money or how the money comes. It's how are we landing the money that's in alignment with our heart's desire. And so it doesn't matter. Like my bank account's wide open. Like you want to send me checks from fucking random ass places. You want to send me some weird ass affiliate stuff from 8 years ago. You want to send me a tax refund that I overpaid. You want to send my husband a raise. You want to send me clients. I'll take it all because at the end of the day, I'm really clear about how I'm circulating money and it's very intentional. I'm getting Mount Shasta water. It's very intentional. So I'm open to all of the ways that money wants to flood into my freaking life. And the second that we're like, it has to be from business, that you're operating from a really strong shadow because it's like, why? Why does that matter? Because you're trying to prove to yourself that you can do it. Because there's some big part of you that doesn't believe in yourself, which is a direct disconnect from the universe. It's already completely disconnected. It's already kinked the hose for abundance because the truth is like you're a powerful creator and if you can just open up to receive absolutely everything and know that you are the creator of that. It almost sounds egotistical that this client would say I created my husband's extra 200K in 2 months, but the truth of it, that's how energy works. That is how energy works. And yes, of course her husband did or whatever he did. Now another client, this just happened. She said she wanted 250K by September and she just made the goal like last week, and all of a sudden I don't, it's just not working. And then but hold on a second. I was going to buy a home that I was going to have to finance. Turns out the owner's financing it and letting me live there for free. That's $200,000 right there. Yeah, that's $200,000 that didn't have to come out of your accounts. That's your four-fifths of the way there. That's amazing. Yeah. And then again, we just get a little fucking pretentious. I don't even know if that's the right word. A little picky. Universe, if you're gonna send me money, it's gotta come this way. It's a child again. It's very like tantrumy in a way. Like I over exaggerate the energy because I can feel and see tones, so then I have to over exaggerate it so I can grab it. Doesn't mean that you're behaving that way. It's just that's how I see energy is that it has to be over exaggerated and then I can pick up on it. Say, I didn't want it that way. Ugh, you suck, universe. Oh gosh, universe is not inspired to bring us any money through our business that way. It's not like we can manipulate the universe into doing it our way. Can't. Who do we think we are? God? Okay. All right. What's the takeaway from today? Or any other questions I can stay on to for a little bit over? I feel like I have to do something to prove I can, to prove I'm capable, and do have a purpose. Beautiful awareness, know me. Yes. Yeah. The universe can't play with prove it energy. The universe can't play with us believing we're not enough. The universe can't play with our gremlins and our inner critics. We cut off the source there. Everybody have an amazing rest of your week, and we will see you in a couple weeks. Goodbye.